people online, which is fantastic. Want to do some brief introductions here before we get started, but most of you know me. My name is James Clinch. I'm the city manager here at the City of Venice. I can introduce our new assistant city manager.
Yeah, I'm Roger Omenheiser, new assistant city manager. This is the 4th week on the job and loving it so far. Thanks.
A lot to learn, especially about this topic.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm city engineer John Kramer.
And hi, my name's Anthony Garofalo. I'm one of the help desk technicians here at the City of Venice.
Great. Anthony, should we confirm audio somehow on their end?
Yeah, I'm going to confirm right now. I see Jeff is in the meeting. Let me just have him verify audio settings.
All righty, we'll double check audio is working and we will get rolling. With Jeff and make sure he's getting us loud and clear.
Yeah, let me step outside if you guys want to.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, yeah, I got confirmation. You can hear us.
Okay, great. All right. Well, good afternoon again, everybody. I'll get us kicked off here today. Wanted to give you a little history on what we're doing here. So this obviously was not our first choice on format for this meeting. I was contacted a couple of months ago by Peggy Paris with the board with a very reasonable request. She said, "Hey, people have a lot of questions. We haven't talked about Flamingo Ditch in a couple of months, and there's just a lot of questions out there." So she's like, "Can you get everybody together and just share an update on where we are in the project?" And I said, "Great idea, absolutely." So we started working on putting this meeting together, and John has a great presentation that he's going to share with you in just a moment. Our original plan was to get everybody together. That's always my preferred way to do things. And then, of course, we had a very direct conversation with our city attorney. So we are in active litigation with one of the residents in the Flamingo Ditch area, and that creates a lot of challenges for us. Unfortunately, we're not able to have live Q&A on this topic, and it does slow things down a little bit. So we're pressing on. I think originally our city attorney didn't want us to have a meeting at all, but I was pretty adamant that this is really important information and we can share it in a way that is not going to impact the litigation that's ongoing. So that's kind of why we are doing this little different format today. But nonetheless, we have great information to share. There has been a lot of activity and progress on the project. We're looking forward to sharing that with you today. The next public conversation we're going to have on this topic will be during our CIP workshop, which will be in April with City Council. We'll be talking about the next phase and funding for the future projects. So thank you for your flexibility and for kind of helping us stay in compliance with our city attorney. So we appreciate that. So with that, I will pass it off to our city engineer to start the presentation.
Thank you, James. Good afternoon, everyone. Load up the PowerPoint and share the screen. Good.
Yep, should be good. Close enough.
Okay. Well, thank you. As James mentioned, this is a update on the Flamingo Ditch related activities since the CPE presentation to City Council on October 28th. Our agenda for this meeting is to review the activities since that City Council presentation and inform you of the next steps with the project. Now, of course, our routine maintenance in the area continues. We want to ensure that the stormwater system is open to flow freely. We did have some extraordinary maintenance. We obtained a permit for mangrove trimming and had a licensed contractor trim the mangroves between gardenia and hibiscus to create a path for stormwater flow. Essentially, a tunnel was cut through the mangroves. So if you're looking at this area from above, it may not look different since we didn't actually remove any mangroves or trim the tops of them, but a tunnel has been cut through them to ensure that water can flow freely. And the feasibility study report prepared by Coastal Protection Engineering, CPE, has been finalized. CPE presented their draft report findings at that October 28th meeting, and since that time, the report has been finalized. This is a slide taken from the presentation by CPE at that October meeting where they list their recommended actions. And I'd like to go through these one by one to review with you where we are, the status of each. First, we have grant applications. As a reminder, the grant applications that have been submitted prior to October 28th were to the Economic Recovery and Resiliency Program, the NOAA Transformational Habitat Restoration and Coastal Resilience Program, FEMA Hazard Mitigation Grant Program, and Resilient SRQ. Now, out of these, the FEMA HMGP grant application is progressing well. We've responded to 1 environmental RFI and 3 engineering RFIs. This grant application was for $1 million, of which there's a 25% city share. And we're continuing to receive questions from actually FDEM, Florida Department of Emergency Management, on behalf of FEMA. We're continuing to respond to those. They have notified us that they determined this project is cost effective. It met their extensive cost benefit analysis. So we are confident that at some point we will have secured this grant and its associated funding.
John, I was going to add, we also are pursuing a federal appropriation request through Congressman Stubbe's office. So I'll be heading up to Washington, D.C. At the end of the month with the mayor to advocate for that project.
Thank you. And in addition to that, we have, so since October 28th, we have submitted a notice of interest for the Florida Division of Emergency Management, FDEM, Hurricane Loss Mitigation Grant Program, HLGP. And one of the most important activities that we undertook was reorganizing the engineering department. Our previous city engineer had retired, creating a vacancy, and we reclassified that position as a stormwater grants coordinator position. And I'm pleased to announce that we filled that position effective January 14th. Demetra McBride is our new stormwater grants coordinator. Her contact information appears there. I'm thrilled to have her on board. She's made quite a bit of positive impact so far. If you have any grant-related questions or come across any opportunities, please feel free to contact Demetra. The real-time water level monitoring system and excavation of the vacant Golden Beach lot recommended by CPE have been included in a Flamingo Ditch Phase 1 capital improvement project that staff is submitting for the fiscal year 27 capital improvement plan, and that will be heard by City Council at a CIP workshop on April 8th. The total estimated cost of that project is $1.1 million. And just to put that into perspective, our stormwater fees are structured for the maintenance of the current system and to generate about $1 million a year of funding for capital improvement projects. I'm also pleased to announce that on January 26th, we closed on the vacant Flamingo Drive parcel perpetual drainage easement that will allow us to excavate that parcel and create additional storage. And also there is the potential to acquire another vacant parcel that's located adjacent to Flamingo Ditch. This is a parcel that until recently had a home on it and was not for sale. Recently, the home has been demolished. The parcel is for sale. The listing agent asked if the city would be interested in acquiring it. And this parcel is adjacent to Flamingo Ditch. So excavating it would create the same benefit as the Flamingo Drive parcel. So yes, the city is interested, and we're in talks with the listing agent. The pipe improvements that CPE recommended, specifically making the Flamingo Drive pipe a one-way pipe, preventing backflow, increasing the pipe size, and looking at other potential improvements on Villas and Gardenia, where these are envisioned to be a phase 2 project. And this is the scope of work that was included in that HLGP notice of interest that was submitted for potential funding. These last 3 recommended actions are potential future projects as funding allows. I want to reiterate with the elevate option there, when it says raise the roads to +5, that's actually an elevation 5 in relation to a survey datum. So it's not saying to raise the roads 5 feet. Raising them to elevation 5 would be about a 1 to 2 foot increase in some road portions. I understand that the community has some concerns with this project. The fill that would be required to raise the roads would be offset by the excavation of the Flamingo Drive vacant lot. Right now, this elevate option, as well as the other 2, are currently not being pursued. These are potential future projects. I am aware that there's community concern, and if and when the road elevation option is pursued, we will have community outreach on that. I also am aware that residents around Deertown Gully are concerned about the potential diversion of water from the Flamingo Ditch Basin to Deertown Gully. I'd like to point out that CPE's recommended action is that this be considered. Obviously, there are a lot of considerations for such a project, and this would be something for future consideration. Surge barrier, coordinating with the Army Corps to construct a surge barrier. The CPE report is clear that this should not be done until all the rainfall improvements have been constructed. But city staff have been coordinating with the Army Corps regarding the upcoming beach renourishment. And the Army Corps is going to do something different with this renourishment event than in the last. They're having a approximately 100-foot no-fill area at the Flamingo Ditch outfall. They'll taper in the beach renourishment, saying that they're placing to create this no-fill area, and they're hopeful that this will be an improvement. The next steps for the Flamingo Ditch area, we're going to continue, of course, our routine maintenance to ensure that stormwater system is open to flow freely. The city does have a local emergency contractor on call to open Flamingo Ditch outfall as soon as possible after an emergency event. I was posed a question about whether or not that needs to be renewed. That is actually a task authorization that's written under a master contract with that contractor that is valid until April 2028. So not necessary to renew that task authorization at this time. Next, we also look forward to the construction of phase 1 improvements. Of course, if City Council approves the placement of that project in the CIP. Once that water level monitoring system is installed, then we will be creating a new standard operating procedure utilizing the information from that water level monitoring system, establishing an objective elevation at which city staff will manually open the Flamingo Ditch outfall. And for those of you new to the mention of this water level monitoring system, the intent is that residents, as well as staff, public will be able to access the data in real time. And of course, we'll continue to pursue grant opportunities. Unfortunately, we can't have live questions and answers during this presentation, but there were some questions that were posed in advance by the Flamingo Ditch Steering Committee. I think that I've covered most of them with the preceding presentation, but for housekeeping, here's some remaining questions that were posed. There was a question about erosion repair by homeowners. What is required for them to do that? And I just want to mention that City Code requires a site preparation permit before any activity such as removal of vegetation, site grading, delivery of fill, or groundbreaking. So if a homeowner is planning to do any of those activities, they will need to apply and obtain a site preparation permit from the engineering department. There was a question regarding mosquitoes in the area. Mosquito management services are provided by Sarasota County. If you have a concern with these, please contact the county at 941-861-5000, and you'll be able to discuss that with them. There was also a mention of odorous growth in Flamingo Ditch. City staff have not observed any algae in the ditch. We have observed duckweed, which is part of a natural ecosystem. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, John. I will just close this off here and say thank you to everybody who was in attendance today. We certainly appreciate your interest and especially appreciate Peggy Paris reaching out and letting us know that there was interest in this information. There's, our experience, certainly if we don't get the information out there, a lot of times you get misinformation that's out there. So I hope that today was able to kind of clear up some of those questions and at least give you an idea of what's happened since the last time we talked about it publicly. And we'll be ready to talk about it again at the CIP workshop in April. So a lot of neat things are happening. We're certainly, on behalf of staff, we are very glad that we were able to secure that lot because that opens the door to these future projects. If we were not able to obtain that property, it would really limit the ability of the city to do anything in terms of capital improvements down there. So that was great news, and we'll see what happens with this second lot, and we will certainly keep you all informed as that progresses. So thank you all. I hope you have a lovely rest of your afternoon, and we will talk soon. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.